Okay.
Oh, yep, yep. Okay.
Good.
Yep.
All right, we are good to go. So, Chelsea, I 100% appreciate you making time today to kind of share with us a little bit about your fitness journey and specifically your pregnant fitness journey.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. What started this was you made a post in the private Facebook group, which I have here, and I'll read it. I saved it just to kind of set the stage, and then we can just, pregnancy better than me. You can dive into where we go. But you
Sure.
said, well, Linchpin family, it's that time again. Time to scale, modify movements, mix up workout variations, and drag myself to the garage, even though I'd rather stuff my face with cookies. I'm
Yes.
expecting my fifth and last baby, which means this will be my fourth postpartum journey with Linchpin and my third pregnancy from day one, which is crazy following the program. The true reason for this post, you thanked everybody, which is super cool, and the support, and your husband as well. And when I left my gym 5 years ago, I never thought I'd be able to work out at home and love it, but I do. So really cool. But man, so first of all, I've got three kids, and it's it keeps me busy. So you've got
Yeah.
four, now you're making your way to number five. That is, first of all, my hat is off to you.
Yeah, well, we actually have seven. Well, this will be number seven altogether. So I have two older stepkids also. So we have a big family here. So
Whoa, seven total. That
yes.
is, you should, I mean, on top of talking about pregnancy, you should write a book on just time management. How are you able to even do this interview right now?
Well, everybody's sleeping, so if I'm looking off in the other direction, I'm watching baby monitors, which is usually how I work out anyway. So, I have several in school and a couple sleeping, and one's still cooking, so that one's the easiest right now.
Oh man, what are the age ranges?
So we have 23, 21, 15, 5, 3, a year and a half, and then the last one.
That is incredible. Is
Yeah, it's
there,
really cool.
I was going to say, we've got, my middle one just had a birthday, old one's about to, so call it 15 years old, 13 years old, and then a little over 3 years old,
Yeah,
specific ages,
I
but we
knew
have,
Lane was like in between my girls, but I couldn't remember exactly. So,
yes,
yeah.
and the two boys, I'm their stepdad.
Okay. So you
Yep.
get it. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I was going to say we could have probably, depending upon how that relationship is, a very different
Yeah.
conversation about different households,
Right. Right.
different rules, different schedules, different yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot going
Yeah.
on. Um what all those different ranges, not to put you on the spot, you love everybody equally and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
is there a particular window that is like your favorite? Is it like 3 to 5, 7 to 10, like where you're just like they're just super fun, they're, whatever it happens to be, or is irrelevant to you?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because my 5-year-old daughter just asked me recently, she said, Mom, like, who's your favorite child? And I said, well, Jessica, who's my 23-year-old. And she was just shocked. She's like, no, you could have more than one favorite child. So I had to go back and tell her, no, 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 it's okay. I don't have any favorite children. But
That's
to
awesome.
be honest with you, this 5-year-old stage is a blast. It was super fun with my son. I when my husband and I got married, my stepkids were 11 and 13. So I didn't get that like, young
Mm.
kid time with them. But I loved this like 5, 6 kind of preschool kindergarten age with my son, and now my daughter is a blast. The 3-year-old, we'll see what she does because she is just absolutely crazy. She thinks she runs everything. So we'll see what age I like with her because it's
Hmm.
wild. But yeah, it's really fun, when they're like about 5, getting to they're totally their own personality. They're super smart. They talk a lot, they understand sarcasm and things like that. So I think that might be it. Like about preschool, kindergarten is
And
a
when,
blast.
with all that going on, I guess some of them are driving, some of them aren't driving, but you've got to
Yeah.
run around to so many different places all the time, so many different schedules. And when in the world do you find time to work out? Is it different each day or is it set for you?
It is mostly set around this time, like 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, in the winter, because it's so, we're in Cleveland, so it gets cold. So I usually work out in the morning actually with my husband, because then we turn on the propane heater just once during the day.
Right.
Um, but usually it's around nap time, so in the afternoon.
And so I guess, the whole point of this was going to be pregnancy, working out, scaling, modifications, which, that seems to be a constant just topic. And I don't know if there is one way to do it. I've heard different medical professionals say different
Yeah.
things, I've heard, know that some women, for example, yeah, I had no problem like running and jogging the whole way through my pregnancy. And other women are like, what are you talking about? Since like month two, it was excruciating, couldn't do it. So,
Right,
I guess whatever disclaimers we need to give in 2024, we're not giving medical advice,
right.
throwing medical professional. We're two people having a conversation like we just really would about, hey, what's going on? What did you learn? So you've done this, multiple times. What have you learned that, from working out the first time to working out now, and what's your path going to be like?
Yeah, so when I first started working out, well, I guess the first time I was pregnant working out was totally different than how I do it now. I really wanted to push everything, which I know is not a brilliant thing to say, but I just thought,
That was the reality.
yeah, that was it. I was like, I don't understand why I cannot do the things that I was doing before. And so I probably did, more than I should have. But I've learned each pregnancy. So, like this pregnancy from the beginning, I'm like, you know what? I have the rest of my life to work on sit ups or toes to bar, hollow holds, which I'm terrible at all three of those things. So it's not too bad putting those off, but I don't really do that as much anymore. Um, like earlier on, and I've learned it's been kind of cool. The older I've gotten, the more pregnancies I've had. It's like a new bit of knowledge coming out that it's like kind of I don't want to call it a fad because it's great to learn all of this stuff, but it's like all this pelvic floor information and pregnancy information, and it's like booming right now. So we've learned
Mhm.
so much. Um, I followed a lot of people. Like I listened to all of your interviews. Anytime you had one with Emily on, that was always fun to listen to. Um, let's see, Annie was always like very vocal about her pregnancy and what she was doing, not doing postpartum. So I've really just kind of watched other people, um, trying to learn from other people. But actually, it's kind of cool because my sister and I would work out together, and we have children of matching ages. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one daughter coming.
Do whatever you need to
Go
do. This
ahead.
is this is real life
Yeah.
and good to go.
Yeah, this is how all my workouts go usually. So, but she's a 5-year-old, so she's the fun one and she'll just sit with me. But um, so my sister and I would work out together, and we have children of matching ages. So we both have 5-year-olds, we both have 3-year-olds, we both have a year and a half, and they're actually both girls, both boys. So that's really fun. Um, but we would just really kind of help each other out, like watching for coning on each of us. We were able to do that, and knowing each other so well, being sisters. I could tell when she was totally overdoing it, or she'd be like, hey, you're
Mhm.
just off today, like you should um scale back a little bit. And both of us being competitive, neither of us wanted to scale back at all.
Right.
But so I think that's super important, just having somebody who knows you really. And that's what I really enjoy about like the CrossFit community, is that people are so open and honest about um, ability and skill level. And, like I wore the appropriate shirt, scaling is
Right.
cool and it's fine. And we really are just, doing the best that we can, um,
I guess it
trying
does.
our best,
I guess it does depend maybe on what each individual
You
woman
can sit with me.
did or didn't experience with their pregnancy. Hi,
Say hi.
hi. Because for example, my wife is not here right now, but she has some strong feelings, and I won't say whether they're pro or con to get her in
Yeah.
trouble about like the pelvic floor stuff. Like you said, things that happen to be in vogue at the moment,
Right.
and I don't know the validity or not. I'm sure people are very passionate as to whether it's necessary or not necessary, but it probably just depends upon what you did or didn't experience during your pregnancy. There are probably some women that didn't touch it at all, totally good to go, don't even understand why it would ever be a concern, and other women who are like, I could not have properly recovered without it, I'm sure, and everything in between.
Right. Right.
So there might be, what, in your personal opinion, I'm kind of lumping things into two categories, and tell me if I'm wrong. I see as a category of, are there things that just during pregnancy or after pregnancy you're just going to flat out avoid and not do them? And then there are things that you will do, but you'll modify, whether it's loading, rep range, intensity, things like that. So is that avoidance and then modification? Is that a fair two buckets?
Yeah. As I get further, there's really not too much that I would absolutely avoid because, like, I think it's not good for the baby. I had my oldest when I had him when I was 19, so I was young. I should have really been in like the best shape of my life, and I wasn't at all.
Mm.
So that was horrible. I didn't exercise. I didn't watch what I ate. It was a terrible pregnancy. Postpartum was miserable. And then, starting with this one, I've exercised throughout the whole pregnancy and then postpartum also. So there's
And
not
that was a noticeable difference in how you
oh,
function.
huge, huge. Any, any friend that I have, like I think the most common suggestion for exercise in pregnancy is don't start anything new. So I was
Mm.
exercising before I was pregnant with her, doing CrossFit, and then so continued through that whole time. But I feel absolutely 100% that I could not do a pregnancy without CrossFit anymore,
Interesting.
because it just helps so much. Like through labor, through recovery, I felt a million times better after exercising. But back to like avoidance and just modifying, my biggest issue working out is usually as my stomach grows, like I stop running, not so much because I think it's like dangerous or it doesn't exactly hurt, but I'm afraid to trip and fall,
Mm.
So
Sure.
there's like more like safety concerns like that. Like I stop jumping just because I don't want to again trip and fall on my stomach.
Well,
But
that was going to be my
nothing,
question, like your
yeah,
burpees or box jumps.
yeah. So I usually like burpees I can usually do for a while because I'm not good at just like dropping
You can do them
anyway.
controlled.
Yes, exactly. Which then ends up being like pretty much a push up. So I get two movements in one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like anytime I do, it's like box jumps, I'll just do step ups, like weighted step ups towards the end. And again, that's just because I don't want to trip and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's not really anything that I like specifically avoid because I think it's not safe.
Okay.
I know with my second daughter, I had posted that we were doing a one rep back squat, and I think I was 30. Well, so I had her at 37 weeks, and I literally did 90 wall balls the day I had her because she came as a surprise, and I didn't know I was going into labor that night. So
That's
I think I was,
amazing.
yeah, I think I was like 36 weeks with her, and I back squatted like 195, and that was like perfectly fine for me. Um, I'm built for strength, not endurance whatsoever. So like that was easy, and that was a safe weight for me. But um,
You know
yeah,
yourself
so
quite well by
yes,
this point.
yes, yeah. So there's not really anything I would absolutely say no way you can't do, but I just
You know,
yeah, just
maybe
modify.
maybe we can get into the so we talked about things that you would or wouldn't avoid, and the list seems rather small and kind of commonsensical. Maybe we talk about the modifications in a second, but have you ever had any chats about this stuff with your doctor or medical professional? Or do you keep it to yourself? You're like, oh, by the way, doc, I did 90 wall balls or I back squatted 195. Like, has that
Yeah,
conversation ever happened?
well, I actually usually see a midwife for all my pregnancies, so
Okay,
they're significantly more um, encouraging and okay with and understanding about exercise.
I
So
see.
I did see at one point like an OBGYN, and she said, well, you can't lift any more than 20 pounds now. And I was like, okay, but what about my toddler, who is obviously more
Exactly.
than 20 pounds? So things
Right.
like that. So I've learned kind of what certain professionals are okay with hearing and what they aren't. And I have a lot of friends who are like in the physical therapy world, um, in the kind of midwife, that kind of area. So I usually talk with them, and then just knowing my body. So
And so under the realm of modifications, lower weights, lower intensity, or what do you modify? Do you go to
yeah,
dumbbells instead of a barbell to go around your body on like power or
yes.
something?
Yes, I get very, very friendly with dumbbells, probably around, I'd say 26, 27 weeks. Um, yeah, I actually am like semi decent at Olympic lifting. And so I usually go to dumbbells because I don't want to mess with like my bar path. So I don't know
Gotcha.
if that's something that I've totally made up in my own head, but I go to dumbbells and get real friendly with those. And as far as like modifying, it's usually intensity.
Okay.
Um, Not often. I mean, sometimes I do, lower weight. Um, if it's something that I know I'm going to have to like hold my breath a lot,
Hmm.
I won't do that weight. That I know that puts a lot of pressure on your body. So that's something that I'll kind of modify or monitor, I guess is the better word. But it's usually intensity. Like we just had that 800-meter run and pull ups and I think
Hmm.
L sits. So I did the wild card and did the 8 rounds, and the regular time was like 40 minutes. So I got to 42 minutes. I was still on round 7. I'm like, that's it. That's enough. That's
Yeah.
that's long enough. So it's usually time and intensity is more
Do
so what I modify.
do you have any metric for the intensity? I'm trying to remember. I think, when my wife was going through the pregnancy with Lane, it was something even as, non-scientific, but maybe useful as you should never be like super out of breath, huffing and puffing, that kind of a thing. Like, you should be able to answer a question more conversational sort of a deal. Or what do you use as your like, hey, my intensity is I'm in the right spot for pregnancy with intensity when, whatever.
Um, that's kind of a tricky question because I'm not super good at like pushing to red line. Like my husband will always tease me because I'm like not often sore, and he's like, "Well, you're not working hard enough." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm usually like, monitoring a couple children or
Yeah,
whatever, talking to the
I don't
neighbors
blame
in
you.
between
I
rounds."
enjoy
And
some breaks myself.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not super good at just pushing to red line anyway. So I know, like when we just did that workout, it was like 90 degrees, and I was at the
Hmm.
time, and so I was like, all right, that's enough. But I don't usually push to the point that I think is not good for me anyway. I'm usually answering questions in the middle workout, so
Right.
that's kind of
You're not
just
laying
a
down on the
usual.
ground afterwards hyperventilating.
No, no.
Good for
So
you. You know what? Good for you. What
hey,
what
I still
about
get some PRs every once in a while, so it's working.
what about
So
nutrition wise? What have you learned the hard way? Does your diet change at all, or do just the cravings change, but you keep the diet the same? What's that like?
yeah, it is so tricky. Um, my husband and I eat pretty uh Pretty well most of the time. We kind of sort of follow like the 800-gram challenge. He's way better than I am at that. I love to cook. I love to bake. I love treats. I love to
Mm.
grill, so it's just that's tricky for me. I have to work a lot harder at watching what I eat than he does. Um, but just when I'm pregnant, I'm just starving all the time. So I tend to eat more, obviously, but I try and maintain, mostly whole foods. If it's gonna be something sweet, I like to make it at home. But we do eat lots of ice cream. So
Do you ever make your own ice cream?
I've not, and I just saw recently, I think you posted that you were
I did.
making ice cream. Yeah, so I was so jealous because we just got a new grill, and so I've been on this like smoking kick. You can like smoke a bunch
Oh,
of stuff in it, and so I made like for my son's first day of school, I made crepes and I smoked some salmon. It was like candied jalapeno, smoked salmon, and
oh
oh gosh,
wow.
oh, it was delicious. So we just love to
Oh,
eat.
I'm right
But
there with you. You've got my
yeah.
undivided attention when you said that you like to bake. What do you like to bake? What's some of your go-to just favorites?
So I have this like banana bread that's like got a coffee crumb topping on it that I absolutely love to make. Um, I do a Bible study with some ladies at church every Wednesday morning. And so, like, I just make everything, for all the little old ladies, they love bakery. So, I love to make biscotti. A friend and I, we make biscotti for Christmas time and pie. We just made pie for Elizabeth's birthday here. So, pretty
I'll
much anything that tastes good, I will try and make it.
I'll tell you what. As we record this, it's Tuesday, and so
Yeah.
every Tuesday in the private Facebook group we post a Tasty Tuesday thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually just posted today under that thread that our son who just turned 13, he wanted a donut cake. So we get this like
Oh, yeah.
crazy, huge, crazy donut.
Yeah.
I posted a photo of that. But if in your hectic life, if you remember on some Tuesday, if you post that banana bread recipe, I love banana bread, and that
Oh,
with the
yeah.
coffee crumble, whatever top, that
Oh, it's
sounds
delicious.
like utopia to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I always feel bad because everybody most of the time is posting like something super healthy on Tuesday. I'm like, well, there's another Tuesday. I'm not posting anything because,
Oh, post whatever you want. That sounds so good. Somebody else, now we're on a total tangent. Somebody else posted a recipe a long time ago, and I took a screenshot of it, and I haven't made it yet. I actually have it right here. It's funny. This is from Justin D, and it was these cookies he posted called Scotchy Oats. I think they were an oatmeal cookie with like a butterscotch.
oh, yum.
Yeah, they sound incredible, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I haven't made them yet, but I have the recipe. Well, I took a screenshot of it sitting right here on my laptop. So I will make those butterscotch oatmeal cookies at one point in time too. Yeah, but my one of the first gifts my wife got for me when we were dating was an ice cream maker, and it's like, this girl has potential.
Yeah, she's a keeper.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's super easy. I think that you would enjoy it. But yeah, I can see how with a love for baking and cooking and grilling, it can be
Yeah.
challenging to keep the nutrition dialed in. I struggle with that on a regular basis.
I know. I love your fitness or your health goal or your three main goals. I'm like always with you. It's like diet and sleep, right? I'm like, yeah, I get that. I get
100%.
that.
100%. I mean, yeah, if I could just magically snap my fingers and never have a nutritional issue for the rest of my life, I feel like everything would be solved. But they're just so tasty.
Absolutely.
They're so tasty. Do you have
Right.
any, I'll let you, get back to your life, but do you have, let's say there's some moms, maybe they're going through their first or second pregnancy, they're not quite sure what the heck to do, just advice, lessons learned that you could share with them?
I think I would think just don't stop doing what you're doing. If you are doing something, don't be afraid of movement. If you have to scale back, absolutely, it's still better to move than do nothing. Um, And by the end, you're absolutely exhausted, and it is the last thing that you want to do, really, is go outside and sweat or, be in the cold gym or whatever. Um, but it's so worth it afterwards. I mean, I am super blessed. I've really just had very easy postpartum journeys, but I really think that the last 3 out of 4, babies that I've had have been after CrossFit.
Mm,
I think that makes a huge, huge difference. So I would say just keep doing it, even though it's miserable most of the time. Um, and I was going to say something else, but of course my brain doesn't really work that well.
no,
Um,
I mean, speaking as somebody who's never been pregnant, I would just say, like, give yourself some grace, right? Like,
yes, yes, thank you, thank you. That was exactly it. Like I was so bummed about scaling, the first, probably 2 times that I was pregnant, but this time I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna ruin anything. I'm not gonna get hurt, and I've got the rest of my life to just get back to whatever weights I think I should be doing or movements. I think it was in between my daughter and my youngest son right now. My sister challenged me. We were doing like a family challenge, and it was a diet weight loss challenge for her and I, mainly to lose our baby weight. But she said, let's put a physical goal in this. I'm like, oh gosh, are you kidding me? So one of my favorite movements is strict pull-ups. I don't know why,
good
but
for you.
I, I,
Yeah.
I love strict pull-ups. And so I said, all right, well, I'll pick like 10 strict pull-ups. She's like, 10? That's ridiculous. You can already do like whatever, 7 or something. She said, you got to do 15. I'm like, yeah, no way. So sure enough, I did win the challenge. I did the 15 strict pull-ups, but
Did you
you just,
really?
yeah, and I have video proof too.
That's
But
really that's an impressive number of reps.
I was really, really thrilled with that. Um, but you know what? You have time afterwards. You don't have to do everything, while you're pregnant or even while you're very postpartum, and just give yourself a lot of grace and just keep moving because it's really great. Really great
100%.
afterwards and worth it. So,
100%. Well, again, Chelsea, thank you. I think you've been a part of Linchpin for like 4.5 years. Thanks for being
yeah.
such a
Yeah.
long-time supporter. Thanks for sharing, your journey on a topic that's always so interesting to people out there.
Yeah.
And we look forward to watching you go through this one as well. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day with your family. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.